Greetings, life and light. How are you all? So, listen, this is an important message. All the stuff that's happening in the world, politics, everything. I want to talk about blame today and how we can't blame the government. Everything that we're seeing in the world, all this polarity, as far as, especially in the spiritual community, I'm calling, not calling people out, but shining light on the truth, which is we're all subconsciously trying to fight the government and um, say things like, about the 5G and them killing the bees and the child trafficking and all of this stuff that supposedly shouldn't be happening, right? And I'm not really picking sides, but all I am saying is that all these things are happening because humans have allowed them to, right? We are responsible. The second we take ownership of the reality that we see in front of us is the moment in time where we can now shift this reality, right? I wrote something the other day and I said, you are where you are because that's where you are. And the second you accept where you are, well, now you can choose where you want to go next. So everything that we're seeing unfold that's being brought up, all this darkness that's being brought up and the light shining on it, and we're seeing all these awful things and everyone's all confused, like, how could this happen? What's going on? Blah, blah, blah. It's just a reflection. It's the darkness of a collective group of beings who haven't learned who and what they truly are yet, right? As a whole. And as individuals, many of us are awakening to this greater truth of being from the stars, of being pure spirit, pure consciousness, a ball of energy, a photon that can transform the reality simply by being in the same room as other people. We're waking up to this. But we haven't been living in that truth for quite some time. So we had the foundation laid on fear, greed, lack, all these things. And so from that foundation boiled up, child trafficking, murder, rape, all these things, right? Deceit and politicians, all these things were just a result of a race of beings who have not yet learned how to master energy, master themselves. So my point is here that we can't blame anyone. We can't point the finger at politics. We can't point the finger at Monsanto. We can't point the finger at Hollywood. We can't point the finger at what else? The vaccine companies. We can't point the finger anymore. Because as long as we're pointing the finger, we're not owning our power. The only way we can shift is whenever you own your power, whenever you know truly who you are in truth, when you know who you are, when you remember who you are. That's the only way. By us trying to change a system that was built from our own psyche is insane. When all we really need to do is go back within, shift our focus, start to act in a way that's more in alignment with universal principles, universal laws, with our truer self, with our higher self. And then naturally you will see the reality around you start to shift, right? People will start to talk to you differently. You'll walk into the room and now you will be the spark in the room that ignites the whole room in light instead of the room engulfing you. Okay. So this brings me to my next topic. And just before I move on, take responsibility in your life. We need to stop pointing the finger. We need to take responsibility as sovereign beings and do this, right? So that we can continue to move on. Let the old system go. Stop focusing on the politicians. Stop focusing on the point, like stop focusing on the things that you do not want to see in your reality. The more you focus on it, the more you're going to get of it, right? We can't stress this enough. You're powerful creators. The universe doesn't care about good or bad. It cares about what are you focusing on? Because what you're focusing on, you're going to get more of. All right, you see something happen that you don't like in politicians or in the food system. Okay, you recognize it. You know it's there. Great, thank you. Now I know what I would like to experience. So let me go focus on that. We don't need to call out all the things that we see wrong in the world because that's only creating more of it. And I I say this as a double-edged sword because on one hand, thank you all for doing that, for calling those things out, but you're not meant to stay there. You're not meant to stay stuck in that vibration. You're not meant to let that vibration now get you into a loop, spinning around over and over and over, where you lose sight of the goal here, which is spiritual evolution and transformation of consciousness. Okay, that's the only game in town really being played. So just make sure that we check ourselves, right? And we step back into our sovereignty as powerful beings, right? That's what being a light being is about. It's about honoring the dark, but not letting the dark overtake you, right? And not losing sight of who and what you really are. So the second part of this is empaths. So let's talk about empaths for a little bit. I could make a separate video. I'm still getting used to the hair. Yeah. So many people say that they're empaths and they're empathic and they can feel people's energy and they can't go into Walmart because Walmart has so much dense energy. Stop saying that. Stop it. Really, stop doing that. If you can't go somewhere and you're afraid to go there because the energy there, you're losing. They got you. You're powerless. Because a being who is in their power will know that the world, external world, is transformed through the internal vibration. As an empath, that is a superpower. It is not meant for you to feel bombarded and caved in. You can't leave your home because you can't go out into the world. No. When you feel the other people's, okay, I'll give you all a few tips here. So at one point in time, yes, I would go into Walmart and be like, oh my God, I can't, it's Walmart, and blah, 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 whatever. But I recognized very quickly that, and there was this whole theme, in the community about putting up your shield, blocking the energy, putting up your shield. Why would you block off a part of you? Why would you block off your light from being shared with others? Like, you're beautiful. So as an empath, your greatest superpower is to step into a place that seems dense and to shine your light. You be the center point in that room. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Okay? You be the center point. You let your spark do the speaking. You speak from your heart because we're never apart. There's only one, not two, because I am you and you are me, and together we are we. So when you go into a place and you're feeling all this energy, instead of feeling afraid of it, instead of running away from it, absorb it even more, but meet it with love now, right? Meet it with understanding now. This is a part of you. The darkness is a part of you. The density is a part of you. And you have the power to transform it through simply being and choosing to resonate and project your energy of love. Okay. I also talked about the other day, your energy does not need to be protected. It needs to be projected. It needs to be pushed out into the world so that it can transform the world, so it can transform reality. Okay, this is the power of the empath. This is the power of the enlightened, Christed being who has come to be of service to all. You lift the world, you lift humanity, you lift your external circumstances through the vibration that you are emanating and resonating at. So as you walk in confidence, as you walk in truth, the world around you is transformed. You become, imagine that you're like a drop. What is it? I'm sorry. Food coloring, right? I love that little move. Anyways, the food coloring. You drop the food coloring into the water, and what does it do? And all the water becomes the same color as the food coloring. So you are that drop in the ocean that then has the power to influence all around you. Instead of going into a situation and being engulfed by this energy, as an empath, you can feel this energy, so you know what it needs. And this is another thing. Point two for the empaths. Empath is just like one tier as you unlock your psychic and spiritual abilities in your multidimensional senses. Being empath is like what happens after you become an intuitive, become an empath, and you kind of make your way up. Telepath, clairvoyant, and so on and so forth. But so you have a choice as an empath. You know what someone's feeling because you're an empath, right? You can pick up on their vibration. You can feel it. Just ask a question. Here's the question. How or can I be of service to you? They're going to give you a yes or a no. If they give you a yes, ask how they can do that. If they give you a no, let them continue on their journey, period. You are projecting your energy, so their energy has no effect on you. But you can choose to be of service to someone if they would like you to be. And if they don't, then you recognize that this soul needs to experience something on their own, and they will receive what is needed in the moment they are ready to receive it. So you free them instead of being imprisoned by them. Everyone's free. Okay, we can recognize the situation for what it is, and then we can choose to move on from it or be of service if our services are required, right? Number three, of being an empath. When you understand how the universe works and energy, and you understand what's going on besides the body, you understand that you have your aura, right? Your the aspect of light that is always around your body, and it's the projection of your thoughts, your heart, and really your dominant energy centers, right? That becomes your aura. So this aura creates what I like to think of as a force field around you. Now, this force field is impenetrable to the densities that do not match it. So if my aura, if the vibrations that I am focused on become my aura, and my aura is love, anything that is not truly in alignment with love, with the highest vibration, will not be able to penetrate my field. Because like attracts like. Opposites don't attract. Opposites are just ends of one spectrum. That's it. Like attracts like. Or like attracts light with the T. So your aura, your empathic abilities become your guidance, your compass, right? You feel an energy. Well, that energy is going to be a reflection. It's going to bounce off of you. And one of my friends on Instagram at the Water Priestess, she does a beautiful job of talking about reflection in the aura. That's why we say aura reflection, because yes, the water, but the energy bounces off of the auric field. It cannot penetrate it because it's not in alignment with it. You see what I mean? Let me see if I can think of a good example. So a good example is like oil and water, right? So you put oil and water in the same container, they don't mix. But if you put more oil and more and more and more oil, right, and you take the water out, well, now the oil and the oil can mix, or the water and the water can mix, right? So your energy system is the same way. When you're projecting fear, 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 you're going to experience more fear, 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 and that's going to be able to penetrate your auric field. When you are projecting love, gratitude, compassion, kindness, wisdom, truth, honor, integrity, tranquility, peace, joy, those become the makeup of your energy systems. And that is what is now able to penetrate into your field, and you receive more and more and more of it. And you kind of grow your aura now. Right now we're talking about expanding and growing your aura. Right? And Dan Winter does a beautiful job of talking about growing your aura, and how a big aura is what's needed to actually move on in ascension. Right? We learn how to connect with the body of spirit that has a bigger aura. When you sit under a tree, your aura becomes part of the tree's aura, right? When you meditate on the vibration of the sun and you start to resonate at that frequency, well, now you are immersed in the sun's energy and you receive information from the sun. You see? So the aura is kind of like the link to all these different access points of information. So this is the power of the empath, is to feel, to project their energy, and to know where they are, where the aura is based on the energy that they're receiving, okay? And I want to go a little bit deeper into the, what was I just saying? oh my gosh, I'm losing my train of thought. So the aura and then the, I don't know, homies. It slipped my mind. It's like right there. I found it. I found it. It was in the ethers. I called it forth. I said, what were you thought? And it came back. So you do not hear, you do not see with your eyes, right? You are a ball of energy. And that ball of energy uses the eyes, uses the ears to receive information. Okay. I'm actually gonna do another video on this because this is gonna be a beautiful topic. But I'll say life and light to you all, to keep beaming, to keep shining. Thank you so much for being who and what you truly are. Peaceful.human.advancement on Instagram. Peaceful Human Advancement is the email at gmail.com. One-on-one multidimensional guidance. I will take you and transform you into, or assist you in transforming into this next phase of being as a peaceful ambassador for our human family. Okay? Keep being, my dear friends.